Yo, what is up guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the moment that one of my partners actually regained his life and he went from surviving to living. Now he's living happily with his family and with his kids, being the leader that he wanted to be long time ago. But there was this one moment that he once told me, Muhammad, I don't feel like I'm living. Deep inside, I am surviving and getting it day by day and going through life as if it's like a daily task. And this was the moment that I knew that he was disconnected from his purpose and why he was living. So if you feel that you are successful, if you feel that you have a lot in you and you want to get to that next level, but every single day you are tired of the things that are going to your life and started surviving and feeling life as if it's like a day-by-day task instead of living it to your full potential, then this video is going to be for you. But before we start, I want you to know my name is Muhammad Murad. I mentor CEOs, executive, and high-end performance to reconnect with their values, standards, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So the number one thing that I want you to do over here is grab a pen, grab a paper, and listen carefully for the next 10 to 15 minutes. And I'll be guiding you through the exact framework that I gave one of my partners, and now he's living happily, being the leader that he wanted, being the father that he wanted for his kids and wife, and let's get into it. So the number one thing that we have done over here is we needed to rebuild his self-image and separating facts from identity. So definitely there's a lot of times that what we do is we do a lot of mistakes, and these mistakes does not define us, but we made it for some certain things that at that time we thought it was the right actions. But after a couple of months, maybe years, it hit us. It's like, why did I do that? And we start being in a depression, and we start being in an anxious state that we did some things that we knew that we didn't want to do it, but these are the facts. And these facts slowly start to rebuild as our identity, and we start living in the past thinking that this was our identity, not knowing that it was a mistake that we have done and we have learned from it. So the number one thing that we have done over here is we rebuilt his self-image, and we understood that his past actions are not who he was. So the things that he has done, everything that he has done, it is a lesson that made her a better person rather than a lesson that wanted to break him and crush him. So number one thing that I want you to understand over here, that your past actions, that does not define you. Your past actions, whether it was good or bad, today is what will define you and what are the actions that you're going to be taking. The number two thing that we have done over here is that your mistakes are not your future. So the things that you have done in the past shouldn't be repetitively done. If you knew that it was a mistake and if you knew that you didn't want to do it. So how we did that is we rebuilt his self-image, understanding that whatever he have done in the past does not define him. That's number one. And number two, that this mistake shouldn't be repetitive, although that sometimes there are some triggers, there are some patterns that made him do the same exact mistake. But when he figured out that this mistake is going to be repetitive, we understood that this was the old self-image and we need to change that. So the thing that we have worked on literally, I would say daily, each and every single day, we made sure that we monitor how would he speak to himself, and we have written it down. Who am I? What do I? So the things that I want you to write down on your piece of paper. Number one question, who am I? So once you start writing, who am I want you to start figuring out what is your purpose in this life and what do you want to be remembered as. Think about it for a second. Pause this video. Write it down. Who am I? And the second thing, what do I want to be remembered as? So what is my purpose? And repeatedly do it each and every single day. The second thing that we have done over here is what kind of man he decided to become. So now this is the self-image that you see yourself. And there is another self-image that you want to become. Who do you want to become as a man for your family, for your wife, for your kids, for your team? This is the self-image that we will be repetitively doing each and every single day to remove our old self-identity or self-image and figure out our new self-image. The second thing that we have done over here is So the number two thing that we have done over here is we needed to clarify what is his purpose and identity. So a man without no purpose will always feel numb, that he's just waking up for the sake of it. A lot of people, and maybe you, always just wake up in the morning, you don't feel the thrive, but because you have a job that you need to be at a certain time, or you need to do some things that you need to do before some time passes, this is what motivates you to wake up and get out of bed. But I want you to start figuring out a purpose that lifts you up, lifts your soul up, make you super happy that you are alive again and that you are going to chase your purpose and go after and accomplish it. So one of the things, it is going to be divided in three things. So the number one thing is, I asked him, what gave you life? So at that time, what he felt that gave him life was when he was at the top level in his physique, in his health, in his spiritual journey, in his mindset, when he was not trying to prove himself, but when he was discovering himself. So that was the time that he always felt alive, because he didn't need anything to prove, but everything to prove for himself, and everything that he needed to discover about himself, not for anyone else. The second thing that we have done over here is what problems move him emotionally, the things that actually made him, go back to the old self-image when he was betrayed, maybe from the team, the people are not being on the same level, or the mindset, he didn't achieve a goal that he wanted to achieve, that he worked super hard to accomplish, but at the end of the route, he didn't actually achieve that. So he started feeling frustration, anxious, and maybe depressed that he didn't accomplish that kind of feelings. The third thing that we need to figure out is where his pain intersects with the meanings. So the pain that he was going through and the meaning that he wanted out of life, where did it intersect? The time that we did that is where he started figuring out more clarity and more of what his identity was about. So after we have done these three things, we started figuring out that he felt most happiest at the times that he started just feeling himself, putting himself first, and started giving out for the people, maybe at home, at his corporate job, or simply with his friends. Because he put himself first, started working on himself in the mindset, the physical aspect, and being in the top notch, and being a walking billboard of what he preaches and the standards and the values that he has, he started feeling more alive, that this is the life he knew he wanted to do and have. But the times that he felt just numb about his life is when he started going back and back and back, and just giving out some energy and giving out some efforts and putting himself first. So the number three thing that we have done over here was, and the last thing that we have done over here was alignment with God. This was the game changer. I'll be honest with you, this was the time that he was like, Muhammad, this was the time that I felt the most alive, and I felt the most of myself and who I was. And I forgot myself when I was away from God. So the number one thing that we have done over here, after building the self-image, clarity and identity, we needed to align with God. Because when you started aligning with God, number one, you stop fighting life. Everything that happens with you, you start understanding that it happens for a reason, and this reason is the best outcome for you. The number two thing is you stop forcing outcomes. Once you want something from God, you just ask Him, and He will start giving you some ideas, thoughts that you start taking actions for. And you stop forcing these outcomes that you wanted to do, and just leave it for God. So for an example, as if you're just flying in an airplane, you know that you bought your ticket, you have done whatever you wanted to do, and then you just leave it for the pilot to swerve around and then just land you in the specific countries or the specific place that you have bought your ticket for. The third thing that we have done over here was started moving with peace. Everything that he has done, he started feeling that God was by his side, because he knew that he's aligned with God. He knew what his self-image was, and the third thing was he knew what his purpose, and having clarity about his purpose and having clarity about his identity and what he's after. Once we did all of these three things, it gave us these three characteristics that was already built inside of him but he forgot about was stability, meaning in life, and alignment with who he was becoming. I will be honest with you, once we started this, the old self-image was always fighting us back because I wasn't with him 24/7, and the times that he was alone, he felt that the old self-image was, dragging him back. But the one thing that helped him so much to get that new self-image, and I believe it was 45 to 60 days, was repetitively doing these exercises. And we went also in depth knowing about his story and what was just pulling him back and what was he after. Repetitively doing each and every single day, what is his new self-image looking like, and what is the person that he wants to become. So this is the end of this video. If you guys like this video and have seen a lot of knowledge from it, comment down below knowledge, and I would actually appreciate that. And if you feel disconnected from life, or maybe you're out of alignment with purpose, with your life, or you need some guide on figuring out, your new self-image, you need to figure out what are you after, your purpose, you can book your first discovery call. We can hop on a one-on-one call and discover what is exactly that is missing into your journey and how can you get to that next level. Saying that to say, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to share it to your friends or family, and leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.